got brother AI and me in the house, man. Let's hear what our brother AI and me gotta say about this topic. What you gotta say, my man?
Hey, good morning. How are we
Good
all doing
morning.
today?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Got my coffee in hand. Got a chance to speak to some of the brilliant minds in the community. I'm doing absolutely fantastic, man. Now, tell me this: what is your brilliant mind have to say about this situation, AI, me, man?
It's normal. Again, Deion Sanders is a player where it's normal because again, do you think Deion Sanders didn't have a plan?
Mm,
He
mm,
probably had this planned out. He was going in there. He was going to JSU to just prove his concept, his
mm,
valuable skill.
mm,
Like, okay, if I can take this and make it a team that can be unbeatable,
mm,
can I move to the next step?
mm, mm,
Like everything else, like me, I have a plan, a 6 month plan, a year plan. Where am I going to be in my career, or where am I going to be in my money, or where am I going to be in the next step? So Deion Sanders had those plans already in place.
mm,
So all these are just coming up to basically where he's working out.
mm,
And if he didn't work out, he's going to pivot. So he had all these. That's what I'm saying. He already planned this out.
mm.
So everybody's angry, but it's an evolution. Do you want him to stay in that place every day and come in and winning games for the same without him evolving in his skill?
Mm,
Or do
mm,
you think he wants to go in and say, okay, where can I use the same concept? Can I apply it to Colorado?
mm,
Can I apply it to Miami? Can this same concept I did here, can it be applied everywhere
mm,
else?
mm,
He's trying to prove that same concept everywhere else.
mm.
And the great question is, he about the money? Yes. But he's not doing about the short-term money. He's doing about the long-term money.
Yep.
He has a plan.
Mm,
The plan will come. You will see. He probably is building an empire where his NFL, his sports empire is not only going to involve him but his kids.
mm.
Remember, he has a family,
Big family.
so he's not thinking about him. He's thinking about the long haul. Again, this is a plan. This is what you should be doing again in your career as he's doing in his.
Mm, mm,
What am I going to plan in the next couple of months?
mm,
How am I going to get this big money coming out of the NFL? Or how am I going to get this big money coming out of tech?
mm.
What are the plans I'm going to do in the next 6 months?
I love it.
How am I going to be talking to the managers to know where the next big contract is so I can look into getting some couple of meals in their contract?
Mm.
These are the plans he did in JSU. So you could mimic that same plan. So that's the same thing.
I love it. I know you was gonna hit it from that level. And you think about it. I love it. You associated this whole thing to, Dion, this being part of his long term plan, and we're able to see the progression of his plan. But not only that, him being promoted on his own plan, and this is something that we should think about within our careers as well too, and we should have a plan in order for us to get promoted, right? Okay, well, ultimately I want to get to this position within our career, within my career. Well,
And
I have to have a
the good thing
plan.
about yeah, and the good thing about the plan is if it doesn't work, you can change it, you can
Mm,
alter it, you can twist it.
that's right.
If he didn't work for Colorado, he's gonna say, okay, what can I do where it's gonna be a bigger team or somewhere else?
Right, right.
The goal of a plan is the ability to know, okay, how can I manipulate? It didn't work. Why didn't it work? So you can see where it didn't work, and then you can change it a little bit.
That's right.
But he had a plan. He wasn't going to be content in JSU. That wasn't his plan. His plan was to move on. That's why he was ready and ready, willing to go. And he documented it. He even documented the key individuals that helped him in his plan and took him with him in Colorado.
That's right.
He documented it and analyzed every aspect of it and knew these key people were integral in my plan to make JSU great.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
going to take them with me to Colorado.
mm,
He documented each thing. The same thing that you're going to do in the same work you do is the same thing Deion has been doing. He
mm,
documented who was important in his plan. He documented how his plan was working. He did all this and said, okay, these are the key individuals in my plan. They have to come with me. They make this kind of money. I'm going to double their money. They coming with me. These players are integral in my plan. Can I take them to Colorado with me? Is it possible? He
You know
already
what's interesting.
documented and did this
You know
and
what's
planned
interesting
it out
about
and
that
ready to
AI
go.
me. You know what's interesting about that. I'm associating this to a conversation I had. What's up, ladder climbers? It's Antoine Wade. I wanted to interrupt this video to talk to you guys about Course Careers. Course Careers is the place that you guys need to go if you have a high interest into tech sales. They will help you gain the skills that you need so that you can enter the tech sales world to make a whole bunch of money. Tech sales salaries early on is about $60,000, guys. That's a good salary. And with OTEs, you can make anywhere from $85,000 to $90,000. If you have an interest in tech sales, check out Course Careers, link in the description. And don't forget to use Antoine50 so that you can get a $50 discount off of Course Careers. See you guys in tech sales. Earlier this week, and I had a conversation with a mentor of mine, a guy who's 57 years old, and he's making millions of dollars a year. He said, Antoine, you know, when you're at the level that you're at right now, one of the most important things that you need to do is tap into your network, because the people that you're going to be hiring are the people that you have gone through the trenches with. You know that you can trust them. They're going to be reliable. So start thinking more and more about your network, because ultimately you want to always get in front of hiring, but you also want to make sure that you have the right people that you can tap into whenever there is a need in your organization. And I said this, and I thought about what you just said just now. I'm like, you got to have a plan for that. You got to have, you talked about bringing the people along with you. He's doubling his assistants, tripling, quadrupling the amount of money these guys probably have ever seen in their lives by going and elevating and leveling up to Colorado. That's ultimately, and how much does that impact individuals? You think about it. I'm an assistant. I'm making $150,000 a year. Put it like this. Idarius said that Deion, within 3 years, he made $1 million. You and I, AI and me, we made $1 million in like 2 years. So we're making more money than Deion, right? So, and you think about that, right? As somebody who is as popular as him, who's made that amount of money, they can't even pay him more than they would be able to pay you and I that's in a tech field, right? But let me get back to the point. The point also is that his assistants, right now, his assistant's going from 150 or 90,000 to making potentially $1 million a year. That impacts their wives. That impacts their kids. That impacts a whole community of individuals that's behind them. That is the point in part that many people aren't talking about. Those opportunities that these guys get. Damian hit on it when he called in about, being selfish, but also how many opportunities can open up by you being selfish. That's the exact same thing that Deion Sanders is doing. He's saying, you know what? The people who've been rocking with me, part of my plan, I'm going to help to level them up as well, too. They're going to help to level up the people that's under them as well, too, or they're responsible for leading. I love it, man. I love it.
And the biggest fact is, one of the biggest part of Deion that everybody should take in, he sacrificed. He sacrificed the time and skill and said, how can I sacrifice this amount of time and make sure I'm good? And that's life. How can I sacrifice my time to learn this skill? So in the next 2-3 years, I'm gonna make triple my salary. How can I sacrifice? He sacrificed. So equate that to your life. If he can sacrifice his salary to 150,000 and said, okay, look, I'm gonna even donate some of my salary to my coaches just to prove my concept, just to sacrifice. He sacrificed time and money. The man sacrificed time and money. Not only everybody just thinking about the money, but he sacrificed time. The amount of time he spent in JSU just to prove his concept. So the question is, he has sacrificed the time. So shouldn't he get the reward when he sacrifices it? It's like anybody else. You sacrifice your time and to learn a skill, to learn a coding skill. Shouldn't you get paid to after that sacrifice? Or are you just did sacrifice because you wanted to sacrifice? If that's true, man, I'm happy.
People aren't looking, man. You brought up a fantastic point, and I think that is so. Many of us who are ladder climbers in this community, right? Many of us are ladder climbers in this community. We want to hit the ground running hard. We want to make that $200,000 tomorrow. You and I understand.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
That's just not gonna happen, right? You want to get into this space. we know that it's going to take some sacrifice. Maybe you got to take that first role at $60,000, and you just need to sit there, sacrifice for a bit so that you can learn the skill, and then you know, a year or 2, 3 years, maybe as long as Deion, you can elevate yourself to that next level, so you can be making that $150,000, that $200,000 a year. I love that you said that sacrifice is a key part of that as well too, man. And ultimately, when you make a sacrifice like that, you should get paid. People don't look at it that way though, AI and me. People aren't looking at, you know, Deion Sanders said he sacrificed. They're not saying that. They're just basically saying, oh, he bailed out. He bailed us out.
No, man, sacrifice time and money. So time is one of the most valuable resources. So the man sacrificed all this to prove a concept, prove the concept through the winnings, prove the concept through what JSU has received in accolades, in popularity. And now you telling him not to move on and evolve in his skill after that sacrifice. You want him to stay in there and just what? Remain complacent? No, that's not life. That's not living. That's not human. He's expected to move and become better.
I love it.
So why should, if you can do it in your career, if you can do it in your life, so why are you hindering him from doing that in his career, in his life?
I think a lot of the people, AI and me, aren't doing that in their lives, potentially. That's why they may have a problem with it, though. Right now, I could be off on that basis, but I think a lot of people who look at it a different way aren't doing that in their lives. And maybe they are complacent. Maybe they are ladder climbers or something like that. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm glad you brought that up. What else you got?
Normally, normally again, as I said, if you always have a plan, this is the goal. This is mimic Deion Sanders. Always have a plan. Always have a goal. In the next 2 months, what am I going to learn from this place I am in? What are the things I'm learning from my career? How can I level up in this in 2 months? Or even, you don't even need to level up. How can I just put a 2% margin of growth in just 2 months? And again, how can I measure that? What can I do in the next 6 months to get better? In a year, where should I be? Get that milestone. And that's what I do every time. I need to be doing this every day. So in the next 6 months, so the reason you do that, you don't want to put your head up in the next 2 years and say, what was I doing?
Right.
Where did my skills go? You want to go and wake up in 2 years and say, okay, I said I'm going to be at 400,000. I'm at 350. Why? My skill is it because, again, is it because I didn't do the skills I wanted to do, or didn't I network well? At that point, you have measurable ways to see where you were defaulted at, and then go back and rectify it. That's what the plan is, and this is what everybody should be doing.
I love it,
especially in tech.
I love it.
That's my own spiel.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for coming in and giving us the knowledge, my man. I know you was going to bring a perspective that we all should be able to apply today as well. And I love it. I'll absolutely love it. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on AI Me.
All right.
Peace out.